So that's this right here, these numbers here, that means that you have to find your own. First of all, you know it's a mean. Why? Because it says average right there, right? Anytime it says average or mean in the problem, then you know it's a mean problem. And so another way is if you have a list of numbers. If your data is numbers, again, you know it's a mean. So go ahead and you need to find your mean and standard deviation of the sample. So you're going to use S, right, as the sample. You're going to find those using your calculator. So you're going to pull out your TI, let me see if I can get this to work maybe. That'd be great. You're going to pull out your TI-83 or 84 calculator. And, oops, I just made it go away. And you're going to do your stat edit to get your lists, and you're going to put your lists into here. And you're going to put in whatever numbers you have. I have no idea what numbers you have. But then you're going to do stat calc one var stats of list 1, and that will give you second L1, and that will give you the mean and the standard deviation S that you're looking for. Okay? All right, so go ahead and start in on that, and I'll go ahead and break you guys out into groups. Okay, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and go through some of the stuff we have coming up, and then I'll give you guys another 5 or 10 minutes to go back into your groups and finish this up, because I think people just need a little more direction. But today, here are our handouts for today. What I'm going to try to do with you guys is, since I'm videotaping yours, and my computer doesn't like to videotape and do all sorts of other things at the same time, I'm going to try to I'm going to write on it using the annotation stuff instead, which means that for your board work PDF that I save, I'm going to use the afternoons class, because they're pretty much exactly the same. So we'll see how that goes and see if you guys like that, if that works. But at any rate, here are the handouts we need for today. Quiz 8C, which you've been working on, the Chapter 8 summary, which we're going to go over in just a minute, the magic formula sheet, we're going to go over after that, and then the Chapter 9 notes, which we'll do later after the break. We're also going to work on 9.1/9.5. We're not going to get to 9.3. I should just remove that. But you have Connect Math 8.3 due today. On Tuesday, you have 9.1/9.5 due, which is only 5 days from now. So you got to you have a little less time to do that one. And then 9.3 is due on Thursday, which is a week from today. We'll get to that probably today. Actually, we'll probably get to both these today. We will get to both those today. My bad. And then Lab Part 5 is due on Wednesday, next Wednesday. So that's actually coming up now. And we'll talk a little bit about that. I think at the end I'll talk to you guys about that one. And then again, these are my office hours. And Project Angel, what I think I'm going to do is for extra credit to show me your binder, I'll have you pop into my office hours and show me all of your work on the binder. So we won't be able to do that just yet. We'll have to wait till we're done with those chapters, but then you can do those for extra credit. All right, so let's hop into this one here. And again, we're just looking at the z-scores mostly. So I'm not going to worry about the p-value tests. I'm going to focus mostly on these z-score tests, the traditional test, which is comparing your sample's test stat, your sample's z-score, the test statistic, to the problem's z-score, the alpha's z-score. So this is set up in your problem. So this one here has nothing to do with your sample. It's all about your significance level and what it considers unusual. So you're going to find the critical value from that based upon alpha, look it up on the table to find your critical value, and you're going to compare that to your whatever you get from your sample. Your sample's test stat, your sample's z-score. And again, if it's unusual, further away from the mean, then you're going to reject the null hypothesis. So let's go ahead and take a look again just very quickly. These are the steps you should be doing. State the hypotheses. I need all 5 steps. State the hypotheses, identify the claim, find the critical value, and draw a picture. And then find the test value or the test stat, and then make a decision. to reject or not reject H naught, and then summarize the results for your claim. So what I want you guys to do is grab out the handout Chapter 8 summary. It's these ones right here. It looks like this. So go ahead and pick that up, grab it, get it, and we're going to go over this. These are the hypothesis test summary of steps. So I just kind of boxed these up. You cannot use these on the exam. However, these are a great sort of how-to guide for all the problems, so you should be using this to kind of help you solve today's, and whatever you need from this, you should be circling what you need off of here so that you write that down on your notes, right? You get that half page of notes. This will kind of hopefully tell you what things you should put on that half page of notes. All right, so we'll go ahead and go through these one by one. Step 1, state the hypothesis and identify the claim. Write it using one of these symbols, greater than, less than, equal to, not equal to. It's going to be one of those symbols. Then write down H naught, which is always, always equals, always. H naught is always equals. Everybody say that on your own. H naught is always equals. Say it. Okay, saying it will help you remember it. Right? H naught is always, always equals. So either P equals something or mu equals something. Then write H1. So if H naught happens to be your claim, in other words, if your claim is equals, then H1 would be the opposite of that, not equals. But more often, your claim is going to be greater than, less than, or not equal to. So then H1 would become whatever your claim is. All right, so typically H1 is your claim, because typically your claim is going to be greater than, less than, or not equal to. But if for some reason your claim is equals, then H naught's your claim, and H1 would become not equal to. And then write down which one your claim is. So write down claim next to which one is your claim. If H naught is your claim, then you're going to be writing down the word reject next to it, because that's what you're going to use in your summary. If H1 is your claim, then you're going to write down the word support next to it, because later on in step 5 you're going to be using the word support there. Then we're going to go to step 2. Find the critical value and draw a picture. So for this one, to find the critical value, you're just going to use the table. If it's a z distribution, then you're going to use that whole idea of easy peasy, right? Easy peasy, and this tells you if it's a proportion, you're going to use the z table. That's the bottom row of the t table. If you look at your t table, this tells you which column to use. And then this part all through here, these are all different options of t-tables, right? These are all this is your t-table. The very bottom row, that's your z-table, where you have infinity. That's the z-table, just this last one row, because we only need a handful of numbers from the z-table. Yeah, Angel, go ahead.
I don't remember if it was in class or over the homework, but it asked us to use like an E table or to reference an E table.
That's the t-table. That is the t-table. They call it different letters. Like in the back of your book, it calls each table like table A, table B, table C, D, E, and F. So they must just call this table E, which is the t-table. Does that make any sense?
They provide a copy of it on my math lab as well.
Yeah.
For their specific numbers, I think it's like on the right-hand side, there's a column, and it has tables, you can pop it up there.
For the homework. So that's a great usefulness. If in your homework, then you use the tables that they give you there, because they have got 31, 32, 33, 34, you know, so go ahead and just use that table there. It'll save you some issues. Okay, and then for the t-distribution, you use that when you have a mean, because remember mean Mr. T, that just helps you kind of remember this. That guy. I can't do that. Okay, so much for that. then you use your t-table and degrees of freedom n-1. All right, and then you're going to draw a picture. All right, so you've got your picture, you're going to draw, and you're going to put in your critical value where it belongs. And again, if it's negative, then you'll make it negative. The table gives it always in positive, but you know if it's left tail, then your critical value should be negative, and you put your critical value in here and make it negative. And then shade the tail. All right. Then we're going to take a look at step 3. Maybe. There we go. Any day now. Maybe not. Oh, there we go. Finding the test stat. So, again, it's whatever you get from your sample. Right, so sample. And then this one over here, this is what you would get from your claim. Oh no, they changed the colors of them. Darn it. Okay, well that doesn't help much. No worries. Oh, that's even worse. Clear. All right. So let me try drawing it. That might be better. Okay. Well, that's still not working. Darn it. Okay, so this is for your sample. And then over here, this is for your claim. Not very good. So this one is whatever you have in your claim. This is whatever you get from your sample. I don't really like this. And then, so this would be this is what you'd use for your proportion. Try this way. Claim. So this is for your sample. So it's this guy right here, and this one right here. And then the claim would be, would be this one and that one. These are from whatever you have in your claim. That's what goes here and here. So that people get confused by that a lot. So that's why I kind of wanted to bring it up. It's kind of important that you kind of recognize that whatever you have in your claim, whatever you said in your claim, that is what goes. That's your P and your mu. Your P and your mu are whatever's in your claim. Whatever you got from the sample, when it says blah, 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 sample of, that is your P hat and your X bar. When it says sample, and then goes on and says the mean of this or the standard deviation of that, that's those things. The sentence with sample in it, that's where you get your P hat and your X bar from. So after you write those formulas with the numbers in them, then if you want, you can use your TI calculator to compute the test stat. Don't worry about the p-value. I'm not even going to, so you can just cross that out, because I'm not going to make you worry about the p-value. It's the least of our worries this semester. So we're just gonna, don't sweat that. We're gonna strike that out if I can figure out how to strike that out. We'll strike through. Sure. All right, so skip that one. And then you can just calculate in your form, using your calculator. That's the normal way of doing it. Or you can use stat test if you want to. Stat test, t-test for the mean, stat test 1 property test for the proportions. But you might just find it easier just to calculate it like you would normally calculate it. Step 4, decide if you reject H naught. So looking back at your drawing, right, so you've got your critical value wherever it is, and you've shaded, and then you put in your test stat. And if your test stat is out here, then you're going to reject H naught, and if your test stat is over here, then you would not. So this is really how we're going to do it. We're not going to worry at all about this p-value method. We're just going to skip that for this time. We went over a little bit last class just so you guys know what it is, because if you do more stuff with statistics in the future, especially in psychology, you're probably going to use the p-value method, but we're just going to keep it simple for this class and talk about the basics, kind of the more theoretical way. So we'll just do this one for now. And then this is just a visual of that. So again, rejecting H naught, that you do it when it's guilty. And when it's in this region over here, this is the guilty region. So that's where you would reject H naught because you had enough evidence. Over here, remember, H naught says that I am right here. H naught says I'm right smack dab in the middle. If I get something way out here, then I am probably not in the middle, and I would reject H naught because it's probably wrong, because I'm probably not here. If I get something in this range in here that I might say, well, that's close enough. There's going to be some variance. This could be just, just kind of due to regular variance. But if I get something way out here, that's probably not due to variance. That's probably due to the fact that my mean or my proportion is not here. It's somewhere, further to the right. It's somewhere closer to out here. So if I get something out here, then that means that I'm going to reject H naught. Right? I'm going to say my mean's not here, my proportion's not here, because I had enough evidence. And kind of the analogy we draw is that it's guilty. So if you reject H naught, then you have enough evidence. That's what we're going to be using in kind of our step 5, the word I'm going to use it, because you're out here. If you do not reject H naught, that's because you're in this region here and you do not have enough evidence. All right, so then here's the tricky part. Step 5, how does your claim relate to rejecting H naught? So take a look at this. I want to talk to you guys for a minute. All right, so if you think about it, here's H naught. If my claim is H naught, my claim is the same as H naught, then if I reject H naught, then I'm rejecting my claim together. They're tied together. So if my claim is H naught, then rejecting H naught rejects my claim. But if my claim is H1, so here's H naught, here's my claim, H1, then rejecting H naught helps my claim. Right? Because if H naught's wrong, it means my claim is good. So rejecting H naught supports my claim if my claim is H1. So you got to think about that. Is my claim the same as H naught? If it is, then rejecting H naught rejects my claim. If my claim is different than H naught, then rejecting H naught supports my claim, helps my claim. So that's kind of what we got to think about, and that's where this wording comes from in step 5. So if you take a look at it, if H naught's your claim, then rejecting H naught rejects your claim. So we're going to use the word reject in that summary. If H1 is your claim, then rejecting H naught supports your claim. So we're going to be using that wording there. And again, the kind of way to remember this is to think about, the alphabet. I said QRS, TUV, WXYZ, QRS. Q just kind of starts you off. But R, H naught comes before H1, right? H naught comes before H1. So H naught, first one R, rejects. Second one, H1, S comes second, so that supports. Because H naught would be the R, the rejects, and H1 would be the S, supports. sure how I feel about using this. And then step 5 would be summarizing the results. So, if, again, like we said, if H0's your claim, then you're going to reject your claim. If H1's your claim, you're going to support your claim. Steps 2 through 4 were all about seeing if there was or was not sufficient evidence. Right? It's all about finding evidence to reject or support your claim. So this is how it works. Everything in black. So just focus on this part for step 5. Everything in black stays the same. That never varies. There is blank evidence to blank the claim that whatever the claim is. State the claim. Write down whatever the claim is. Now, this part here, the not, it will be is or is not. If you reject H0, then you had enough evidence, and you say there is enough evidence. If you did not reject H0, then you would not have enough evidence. So this is all about step 4. So this is step 4. Step 4. If you had enough evidence, then you rejected H0. So you would say there is enough evidence. If you do not reject H0, then you would say there is not enough evidence. And those kind of match up hand in hand. And then the last part is, this part is step 1, which is either reject or support. If H0's your claim, you're going to use the word reject here. If H1's your claim, you're going to use the word support here. So these guys would go together, reject H0, or H1 would be support. And depending on which one it is, whichever one you wrote was the claim in step 1, you're going to use one of those 2 words. So why don't I go ahead and give you guys, let me go and take a look at this one here. So for right now, why don't you guys go ahead and finish up your, I'll give you guys 10 more minutes together to finish up your quiz problem 1. So I'll go and open up the rooms again. But hopefully that gave you guys some more, kind of guidance to do these. And ask each other questions, right? Use your neighbors.
Professor Young, I have a question.
Yeah.
Going back to step 4.
Uh-huh.
Suppose if H1 is the claim,
Step
and
5?
I'm not
Step 4.
rejecting H0.
Step 4 is just reject or don't reject H0. It has nothing to do with your claim at all. So this is,
So if I'm not rejecting H0,
then that comes into play in step 5. It's not about step 4. So that's step 5. In step 5, then if you do not reject H0, then you do not have enough evidence.
and I do not have enough evidence to support the claim,
Well, it depends on
or
what,
to reject
it depends. Was H1 your claim or was H0 your claim?
H1.
So then you use the word support.
Okay. Thank you.
Welcome.